What's going on, everyone? It's a bit of a side topic on today's episode of David Lurden Live. Recently, there was a track that was dropped. I'll put a link in the description. Track's written by artist from Philadelphia named Fridayy, featuring Meek Mill. Track's called Proud of Me, and honestly, generally is a trigger warning. If you've lost someone recently, it's going to definitely, have you thinking of them a lot. I think the crazy thing for me listening to the track, given my relationship as a recent dad and given my relationship with my now deceased father, it really puts me in this weird position, and they're different. People have talked about this track a lot because Meek Mill's verse has arguably been the best verse to come out in this year so far. Now, I want to acknowledge Meek's verse, but a lot of people have talked about Meek's verse specifically, not even mentioning Friday's verse. He was the lead verse and a lot of the lead imagery, and again, because me being Haitian American, him being Haitian American, him talking through a lot of his experiences definitely hit me different. Also juxtaposing that I have family in Philly, so I spent a lot of summers in Philly, and so I ain't gonna claim that I know the politics out there, no, but I'm very, very familiar with a lot of the politics, just given, a lot of my cousins being in the area, a lot of different things that, I've experienced in my own way. But anyway, when it comes down to the track Proud of Me, one of the things that Fridayy said in the first verse, I'm gonna get back to the chorus, but in the first verse, I'm having nightmares of my brother clutching me. Can't see the snakes up in the grass, so will you show me? Can't trust these niggas, you ain't your friends, what you told me. What's crazy for me, again, I have a complicated relationship with my father. He didn't say a lot of crazy things to me that I hold on to his advice, because he was a simple man. But he always made a point to talk about be nice. That was his phrase. Again, simple man, simple English. And that's something that even now kind of always carried me, where you don't know what people are going through. It doesn't hurt you to be nice to people in this world. And so Fridayy dropping that gem about something that he learned from his dad made me think about something I learned from my father. And it's just crazy how, again, music helps us connect to our world. Going later on, he talks about how he was coping with the loss of his father. I'm walking around, smile on my face, just I know I'm hurting inside. Oh yeah, I'm hurting inside. So I buy diamonds on diamonds on diamonds galore, chain after chain after chain. What's it worth? And grief is a crazy, crazy thing. People grieve in so many different ways. And one of the things that I truly struggle with a lot is how to best manage my own grief about situations. Because to the outside world, it's like, oh, he's acting erratic, or she's acting erratic, or something's out of character, and no one really sits a lot of time to be like, oh, there may be something else going on. We don't always ask that question. We always use the term, yo, you gotta give people grace. You gotta give yourself grace. But sometimes we forget that, you know. Not that it excuses poor behavior. It's just like, can we sit and kind of empathize with where people are at sometimes? You get a better understanding and not just cast judgment. It's one of the harder things, honestly, that I'm personally experiencing a lot, and always trying to sift through in my own head. Now, we get to Meek's verse, right? The one line in particular that gets me. There's a couple lines. But the one that really, 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 really gets me. I'm gonna try to find it. Scared to show up at your grave because I know I might try to dig it out. He sets this up prior, talking about how since his father's passed, he bought his grandma a house. And that, like, that's crazy to me personally. Again, I don't know my paternal grandparents. They passed away when my dad was young. So that's not something that, you know, I ever experienced in that sense. But I did experience the idea of mom struggling, me using the tools that I had, which at the time was me just getting into the pharmacy profession, so high earning power, to help get her into a house. And so I get it, you know. It's something that, would I do it again? I don't know. It feels like the noble thing to do in one sense, but in the other sense, like, so much pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, pressure bursts pipes. But going back to not going to the grave to see your father, one of the things up until recently, I had issue going to see my father at his gravesite, partially because of my own guilt for not giving him a proper headstone. And there's a lot of factors. I mean, cost was part of it. Not knowing the process is another part of it. And just general shock. It's like when someone dies, you're not prepared in any sense to deal with all these little things, all these big things, you know. Shoot, concept of estate planning, like all that stuff, like that's foreign. You know what I mean? That's foreign to a lot of people. And like, it wasn't up until recently that, with my mom's help, that I had the courage and the means to actually make that happen. And that was a big weight that was lifted. So it's like, again, you know, it's crazy what art can do to people, how they bring people together. Because if you go look at the comments of this track, just sift through the comments, everyone's talking about someone that they lost. Brother, sister, mother, son, daughter. what have you. We've all been through it, and it's that shared experience that brings us closer together. So yeah, if you get a chance, please check out that track by Fridayy featuring Meek Mill. Actually, I think they might have both have primary credits on it. I don't know for certain. Either way, the track's a banger. Um, track's a banger, and it definitely reminds you to enjoy your time with the people that you love, first and foremost, but also give them their flowers while they can smell it. Because you don't know how much that means. Side tangent. The other day I was with my mom and my daughter, and my mom made dinner for us. Something that, you know, it's in her genes, you know, like that's her love language, is like acts of service in that sense. And I said, "Thank you, Mom." And my daughter was like, "Why did you say thank you?" And I said to my daughter, I say thank you for two reasons. One, it's generally the nice thing to do. And two, that's her showing both of us love by making this meal. And I want to remind her that I'm appreciative of her doing that for us. She didn't need to do that. And that's just a very important lesson to keep remembering. Like, we all experience the human experience in different ways, but in similar ways. And to not show that gratitude at times could hurt other people. Because you never know the last time they got a compliment. You never know how their day is going. I know that for my mom, her making that meal is a big deal to her, because not every day she has the strength to get up and stand in front of a stove and do that. So for me to say even that small thank you is that small acknowledgement, you know, keeps her going, I know for sure. But again, this is more like an emergency thing. Not emergency pod or anything like that, but this wasn't part of scheduled programming. So I'm just gonna clip this up, get this out. I do have a couple other things that I need to finish up and get out to you guys shortly. But again, thank you and welcome to David Learned Live. Please share, comment, subscribe, all the good things, and enjoy the rest of y'all day.